Welcome back to REV Endurance Sports and another edition of what is in our stand today. That's a hashtag you can follow across all my social media. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and of course here on YouTube. So we have a tubeless tire. And oh, by the way, this is one of the last 5000 TL tires that I think I still have a few in my back stash. Anyway, this gentleman got a puncture on this tire. And of course, sealant sprayed everywhere. And I'm not sure he noticed that he had a puncture. I had to roll up next to him and be like, hey, looks like you got sealant all over the back of your... Oh, wow. Okay, so in this case, the sealant kind of did its job. And then we realized, wow, his pressure is really low. All right, so that was last Saturday. Throughout the week, he's tried to ride. And every time he goes to pump up his tire at home with a floor pump, it just... the sealant just blows through the hole. Now, one of the things I've also noticed about sealant, and especially here in this hilly area, is that every time that, and I'm going to call it a scab, anytime that you start to get sealant and it seals up the hole and it kind of makes like a little scab at the top of that, if I'm doing a 15-20% grade out, in my hills here in San Marcos, I end up ripping that little scab off, and then it starts leaking sealant, or if I'm out of sealant, I'm completely flat. So I've got a Dynaplug here, and the Dynaplug comes in two sizes. So generally speaking, for road, you'd probably use this one. For mountain and gravel, you'd probably use this one. The blunt nature of this tip is going to make it really hard to get into a road tire. So you want this brass tip. And just to show you what these look like. So you have the brass tip, and then you have this rubber piece here. And that rubber piece will plug the hole and adhere to the rubber of the tire. So we have a hole here where this gray Sharpie has been marked. So I'm going to let some of the air out. We've probably got, I don't know, 20 to 30 psi. And we are out of sealant, I think, because when I aired this up to about 80, it didn't, I didn't see any sealant come out. So let me know if you've got that in shot. In shot. All right. So we're going to push that through. And see, this is the thing that I'm always complaining about tubeless. This is such a little hole that I'm having trouble pressing this dart through there. And yet the sealant didn't help, right? So I'm like, it shouldn't be this difficult. And sealant should work, right? So, yeah, I mean, the hole is so small, I can't even push the plug through. Yeah. Even this blunt part is digging into my palm. So I'm going to put that cap back on. All right, so there it is. It's in. I'm going to pull it back out. Okay, so there's the plug inserted. Now, some folks want to cut that tip off. I've got a previous video showing what that looks like after you've ridden a block. So personally, I don't cut that tip off, right? I just keep riding until that just flattens out or eventually wears away. Okay. So we've got some pressure in here. Now I don't have sealant in there, I think. So we're just going to air this up and we're going to see if that plug will hold when I get to about 100 psi, which is not pressure that we would ride this tire, but this is a proving ground, if you will. Let me move this over to high volume. All right, so that's 80. Switch over. I would use the compressor, but then if the compressor kicks on, it's going to make a ton of noise and you won't be able to hear me. All right. So let's see how we're doing here. Come on in, Mr. Cameraman. Appears to be holding. So that is a Dynaplug on a road tire, 25 millimeter tire. I've got about 100 psi in there, and it seems to be holding. Now, once again, we wouldn't ride this tire at 100 psi because it's tubeless, and I'm only doing this momentarily because the head wheel, see if you can zoom in right here. So for a 25 tire, it says 75 psi. 28 tire, 70 psi. So this is momentarily, we're just airing that up just to see if that plug will blow out. And the reason I'm doing that is every other plug I put in blows out. Okay, that is Dynaplug installed into a 25 tubeless tire. The tire's pretty new. I mean, I think it's only got, what, a couple of 100 miles, 200 miles or so at the most. Yeah. He did 100 last week with me and then a couple of other rides. So, yeah. So I think because we have good amount of rubber, we're getting a good purchase on this plug. Okay, if you like these videos, please like and subscribe. Please hit that notification bell and you'll know when I've released a new video. In the meantime, please like and subscribe and we'll see you up the road.